Definitely. Indeed, it started off when the House was considering the votes and proceedings in the House, and was then that the strong MP, Samuel Okujeto Ablapa, rise on his feet and said that the vote and proceedings had captured all NDC MPs as absent, and that was true because the NDC MPs were not on the floor. That's in terms of how exactly they've been absent must be captured.
Following honourable members were absent, and then he proceeds to list the names of all of us on this side of the aisle. Mr. Speaker, we have indicated that anytime our colleagues appear before the courts, we will boycott proceedings. And yesterday's absence was a boycott. So I thought that that will be captured for the record. So it's not as though we just absented ourselves. Because I recall that the votes and proceedings has captured previously walkouts and boycotts. So I rise to seek your guidance on this matter so that just for accuracy's sake, so the impression is not created that we just are absenting ourselves and are not working. At least there should be a line that the minority caucus boycotted proceedings, just for the accuracy of our records. Because in time past, that has been the case, and the table office has captured that accurately. So I'm wondering why that is not happening this time. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek your guidance in that direction.
Okay, so after Sami Okujeto brought up this, put forth this argument, what was the majority's reaction to it?
In fact, we heard from some majority MPs who were really not excited about the demand of the minority. Their argument was that if you are absent, you are absent, and that it is different from coming to the floor of the House, registering your presence, and then walking out, boycotting proceedings for the day. Once you don't come to Parliament at all, then you must be marked absent. So we heard from Patrick Boama, Can Boche, the Minister for Local Government, who all thought that the minority's demands are clearly not in line with the standing orders of the House. We can take a listen.
When the minority leader, Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu, said the entire minority were not going to be part of the business, he did not say anything. And therefore, that decision from the minority leader was binding on all of them. And he had no voice on the floor on that day. So if the Honorable Atufosin said it here that the entire minority were boycotting Parliament, Mr. Speaker, all of us are bounded by his word. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, if you go to our standing orders, clearly that position by him must be registered on the votes and proceedings. That yesterday, the minority caucus boycotted proceedings on this floor. And Mr. Speaker, with permission, I refer you to Order 34. Order 34. The minutes of proceedings of Parliament, votes and proceedings, shall be a record of the attendance of members at each sitting. The Speaker, the record of attendance of yesterday's sitting was that the minority boycotted and we were not here. And it must be reflected on the votes and proceedings. That is what Honorable Okujeto is saying. The Speaker, why should we belabor this? And the Speaker, to proceed, the Honorable Kennedy Ohiapo yesterday was in German law. He has been registered as president. Honorable Minister for Gender, when he was being looked for to lay a paper, he was nowhere to be found. Ministers who were absent and they could not lay their paper, and the majority leader laid their paper on their behalf, are registered as present. We who boycotted are registered as absent without permission. Mr. Speaker, we did not only boycott, we sought your leave and your permission to boycott, and therefore we must be registered. Mr. Speaker, we did not only boycott, we sought your leave and your permission to boycott, and therefore we must be registered.
Is to attend court proceedings. You will solidarize with that colleague and you will be absent to participate with that colleague in the court proceedings. And so I think the table office is right in saying that you've been absent without permission. That is what our rules say. Now,
so that's the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbing, there. My colleague Kwasante is with me. So, Kwaku, after the Speaker gave his ruling, what was the reaction by the minority?
Well, once the Speaker speaks, normally on matters like these, that is the end of the discussion, and so you cannot challenge the ruling of the Speaker. Of course, later on, some NDC Mps had cause to raise issues about what exactly had happened, but once the Speaker had ruled, that was it, and no other issue has been raised in regards to this particular issue of absent with permission or absent without permission.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So that's Kwasante. He is Zoom specifically and speak to Clement Akolo. He is a member of the Parliamentary Network Africa. Grateful to you for joining us here. With what has been happening in Parliament, specifically to this, that the minority wanted to be marked absent with permission, the Speaker says no. Your reaction?
Yeah, I think that the Speaker has stated it clearly. And when you look at the standing orders of Parliament as well, it states what's to be done. Okay. That Article 97, 1C of the standing orders of Parliament indicates what is supposed to be done. That when you want to be marked as absent with permission, you do so by indicating that to the Speaker in a written form to ask for permission so that you will be dealt with as such. Once the minority hasn't done that, I mean, the Speaker is right to indicate that whatever the standing order states is what must happen to you.
But would it have